Oh boy. Presented by Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you use the promo code. Welcome to Light Years. Andy, what the fuck was that? The Warriors lose a 114-111 game to the Spurs at Chase Center to a Harrison Barnes 30-foot fadeaway game winner. I just we could take this a million different directions, but I just need your pure raw emotion off the top here.
Well, first off the top of my head, after a fucking game like that, you know what you need? You need a can of fucking Surfside. You know what I'm saying? Stateside vodka is what you need, dude. Go to your nearest Target. I'm going to Costco on Friday, and I'm actually going to grab the big version, not just the 12 pack, and I'm going to chug all of it watching them play the Blazers on Friday night. So, go get your but seriously, go get it. It's 100 calories, it's a gram of sugar. It's amazing. What's not amazing was that was the worst loss the Warriors have had all season. It's not even close. I'm gonna be real with you, Tommy. I watched like the game on a second screen for the majority of the game, probably 3/4. Because what's the point? They're 17-point favorites. They're gonna win the game. Fine. They kind of gave up in the second quarter, dicked around, came back in the third quarter, showed up, went up by 12. All right, go win the game by 10. Let's just go home. I saw a team that was exhausted. Honestly, I saw a team that was exhausted, and I saw a bunch of role players that on any given night are going to be not good enough. And you combine those two things together against a team that's actually trying, which the Suns weren't yesterday. You end up losing a game like this. Doesn't matter if it's at home or not. Yeah, man, it's this team is reliant on 3-point shooting, specifically from Pods and Moody. Pods and Moody didn't play well tonight, and then they're really relying on Draymond to be that engine, especially defensively. And Draymond was taxed tonight, man. Like, he had no energy, and he was fucking awful. And so Steph and Jimmy did all they could do, but these guys are old. These guys are old, and they've been playing really hard for a really long time. That's not an excuse. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying, when I watch them play that badly down the stretch, it reminds me of what the Warriors looked like before Jimmy. And a lot of times the Warriors before Jimmy they were mentally exhausted right here. And they would go into the end of games and they would just turn the ball over and start doing stupid shit left and right. And that's what happened, man. Like, there's no excuse. Like, they had enough players to win. It's not hard. This is an easy win. They just, yeah, the worst game of the season.
No, I mean, I think, with the context of everything, now they're in a position, and we'll get to all of this later, but they're in a position now where they don't control their own destiny anymore in terms of getting out of the play-in. Memphis has to lose one of their last couple games here, or the Warriors, no matter what they do, even if they win their next two against Portland and the Clippers, they are in the play-in. So it's I think we've had a lot of worse losses of this season, but this takes the cake considering the context. And you're right, they are very dependent on Pods and Moody making shots. Pods has been unbelievable lately. He was not tonight, could not, hit the broadside of a barn, couldn't throw a grape in the ocean, whatever analogy you want to use. And Moody, same thing. And I mean, that's the way it is for a lot of teams in the NBA, though. If your role players don't make shots, you're going to lose. And if they do, you're going to win. Like, Pods have been doing that for weeks now. That's how they beat the Lakers. And obviously Steph was great in that Lakers game, but Pods had been really hot for a couple weeks, and it's probably Jimmy's best game in a while. Shoots 17 free throws, 28 points on only 8 shot attempts. But the Spurs kind of made everything they looked at, especially down the stretch. They go 18 of 46 from 3, 40%. I want to say they went 6 of 8 in the fourth quarter from 3, and the Warriors couldn't make anything in the fourth. And really, sometimes it's that simple. But like you said, there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for that type of loss in this type of environment, especially when you're in a position to control your own destiny down the stretch. And now they don't. So I wish there was like a positive to take from this game. I wish there was some type of like silver lining here, but there's literally none. There's literally none. And for it to come at the hands of a Harrison Barnes fall away 3 at the buzzer, it just stings a little bit more.
I'm just gonna gloss over the fact that Harry B made that 3. Honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe it, but honestly, everybody called it. I think the timeline, everybody was saying it, kind of spoke it into existence. that three would go in. The only silver lining I have, Tom, because we're gonna talk about standings later and all that fun stuff, so I'm not gonna bring it up now. But I would say the silver lining of this game is Jimmy Butler looks awesome. Can I just maybe I'll be the guy that does the optimism stuff tonight? Maybe I'll do it. I think this is the type of game you expect from a guy who, when he looks around him and he says, "Well, Paz can't make a shot. Moody can't make a shot. God damn, he can't." When Moody misses threes, like it is ugly. It looks disgusting.
And it's been bad for a couple weeks now.
Yep. Quentin Post hurt. Sick, not playing. GP2 hurt. His usual. Buddy Hield can't make a shot. Kuminga only played 10 minutes. I don't know. He was fine. I mean, I guess he could have played more, but it's not like he's a shooter, so can't have him out there. So he looked around him and he was like, "All right, well, the fuck, I got to go to work." And yeah, I get it. What is it? He shot 8 times, but like if you really think about it, like he shot like 15 free throws. Like he shot 15, 16 times tonight, and it's so easy for him to get to the free throw line. So kind of just said this was the worst game of the season. It still is, but I think a lot of the stuff that we've talked about the last couple of weeks, I think even from outside media and Bay Area's media, is that what is Jimmy good at? Like, why isn't he scoring? Well, it's like, well, he can. He just doesn't want to or need to. You watch a game tonight, you're like, all right, well, Jimmy needs to score and he will score. So, Tommy, that's my silver lining, dude. That's all I got for you.
I mean, that's honestly coming down the stretch there. That's where I wanted to start the pod, especially when Jimmy gets fouled in the over the back. They go up 2 with 45
Yeah, it's
seconds
hilarious. Left. By the way, he drew that knowing that he would get that foul. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
He baited the hell out of that. And I'm trying to come up with stuff for the show. This was a much closer game than we expected. We were trying to, earlier in the night, we were trying to come up with different big picture topics we were talking about. And look, I think maybe all of us, obviously the team, it looks like a little bit they were tired, but I think they were probably looking forward to the weekend a little bit. Blazers and then Clippers, they're kind of looking ahead. Bit of a trap game tonight on a back-to-back. But we're trying to come up with big picture stuff. And then as the game's going down the stretch, I'm like, Jimmy gets fouled. They go up 2 with 45 seconds. And I'm like, all right, people have been on Jimmy. A lot of fans, even local radio, 95.7, they're saying he needs to shoot more. He needs to be more aggressive. He's not, even Slater asked Kerr before the game, Jimmy's only shooting 11 times a game. Are you concerned about his aggression levels? And Steve said, no, we're 22-5 since Jimmy's been here? No, I'm not concerned at all. We're winning basketball games. And so I wanted to start the show with some Jimmy optimism because he was excellent tonight. Right. But it's tough to do that in a loss where it feels like it potentially changes the tenor of your entire season. Because like I said, now they are firmly stuck in the play-in without some help from other teams. And that is not a spot you want to be in. Memphis does have some tough games coming up. They got Minnesota tomorrow. They got Denver after that. So you would hope one of those is a loss, but at the end of the day, Warriors now have to go win in Portland, and now they have to beat the Clippers the last game of the season. And the Clippers have been a thorn in their side no matter what the construction. And now Kawhi is back, and Kawhi is playing very well. And I don't think, regardless, the Clippers will rest guys even if they're locked into a seed. Maybe they will. They might rest Kawhi. I guess that's a possibility. So maybe that's what you want to root for as a Warriors fan at this point, the Clippers to be locked into a seed. But that just doesn't feel feasible in the West at this point. I think you did bring up something interesting earlier, and we touched on it a little bit already. How concerned are you about, obviously, Pods and Moody in the starting lineup, but the fact that they didn't maybe cash in a Moody or coming in? I don't want to talk trades in terms of specifics, but just for some more shot making on this roster, because they're so incredibly reliant on Buddy to make shots, on Moody to make shots, on Pods to make shots. And those guys can all get hot, but I wouldn't consider any of them an elite shot maker. Say is like, obviously Cam Johnson was a name that's thrown around a lot, but the specific guy doesn't matter. Just somebody who's a little bit more mature, a little bit more polished of a player who can come in and actually make shots in a big game like that.
Well, it's one game. I don't want to do the hey, the Warriors are fucked after one game. It is the worst game that they've played all season. Iterate that for the 4th time, and we've only done the show for 10 minutes so far. But I mean, look, I think we were sitting here saying Pods had made the leap, right? I think we're all sitting there, and he comes in with a stinker. I think these things happen. I think the secondary score that they got was Jimmy Butler. It's hard to get those guys now, like. can you always make a secondary trade to get a guy like Cam Johnson? But yeah, you can. I just don't know if they were ever going to do that. So I think I don't know how important that is. To me, what was really striking about this game wasn't the secondary scoring because they couldn't do it. Fine. It really was about just how bad Draymond was. Like just how bad he was down the stretch. When you're going into a game like this, and it doesn't like they didn't even get shots up 3 straight possessions because Draymond turned the ball over. Like I'd rather Moody just shoot a 3. At least the ball's going up. Instead, Draymond's turning the ball over like he's addicted to it. What the fuck is he doing? And then on defense, he can't get a stop. He can't stop Keldon Johnson. He can't. He's cheating. Gives up a wide open layup. Turns around and blames Jimmy. To me, that's actually the bigger issue than finding a secondary, tertiary score. Yeah, he could always use that, but that's what Jimmy's for. I think more often than not, Pods is good enough now. You're seeing, to me, it's Draymond. If you're just gonna fucking turn the ball over repeatedly, just stop dribbling the ball. Just go get it to Steph, run a pick and roll. Go get it, Jimmy, get it out the way. Right? It just he's obviously tired because Draymond's too smart to turn the ball over like that. But when you're tired, I mean, you played at a much higher level than I've played. When you're tired, you do things that you just it's there's no oxygen going to your brain, man. You just do shit. And you can see Draymond out there, he's just doing Draymond crazy shit. And so I think that's to me the bigger concern. But I'm not sitting here saying, Pod's is going to average 25 points in a playoff series, but I do think those games happen. But Draymond to me is far more impactful when you can't stop Keldon Johnson in the paint. Come on, get the fuck out of here. I just saw him lock up Giannis and Zion in games a month ago, but now you can't stop Keldon Johnson. Again, some of that's fatigue. Some of that's just fatigue.
I think that's actually a really important part to hit on here is the fact that they are tired. They have been in maybe not full playoff mode, but semi-playoff mode basically since the Jimmy trade.
Yeah,
because that's what the standings have dictated. So you're going to get a night like this on the second night of a back-to-back. I don't care.
By the way, second time they had a night like this against Houston. So it's a trend, actually.
Yeah. No, they are a tired team right now, and we've basically seen that 2 out of the last 3 games. And look, it's going to take good effort to beat Portland on Friday. That's a young team that's going to play with energy, and they're not trying to win basketball games right now, but at the same time, you still got to go win the game. We just saw that tonight. And then you got to go beat a good Clippers team on Sunday. And the toughest part about all of that is, even if you do all that, and I'm going in circles at this point, you still might end up in the play-in, and they need this week off. Like I've been so adamant about that. They need the week, and not just physically, they need it mentally, because this has been such a push for them for so long. But we're belaboring that at this point, man. Let's do our job and pay some bills here for a second, huh? Real quick. Do you have any? I don't know how big of a golf guy you are. I know you got fitted for your PXGs, and I'll get to that in a second. But do you have any picks for the Masters this weekend? Anything that you're thinking of that might look good?
I got you. Layers Podcast, we are brought to you by Prize Picks, baby. Springtime is here. Baseball season officially underway. I love baseball. That's my sport. I wish I played it. But you can get on it, man. Add your favorite players in your Prize Pick lineups, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less. If you go batters, it's simple, right? You can go more on hits, RBIs, runs, or less. If it's pitchers, you go more or less on. You can just straight up just do strikeouts. That's it. Or you can do, the other day I had it on Logan Webb's. He had 18 and a half outs. Easy. All Logan Webb does is pitch innings. It's 7 innings. Easy money. Actually, that's 6 2/3. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. Use your promo code LightYears. Okay, to your point, it is also Masters Week. Now is the best time to build your own golf lineup. Put your skills to the test as we watch who gets to wear the green jacket. I love watching golf, man. We're back. We are so back. I root for all the Asian golfers because duh. So I know my guy Colin Morikawa got into a little controversy last week, kind of being a bit of a guy there, but I'll roll with him. He hasn't won a major in a long time. So I'll roll with him. I'll throw him in maybe a top 10 finish. He's really good at those. Maybe not winning it, right? DeChambeau seems like another guy that's going to break in or break out, I guess you could say. He should win one. So man, yeah, dude, those are a couple guys that I like this weekend. I'll be locked in tomorrow. Again, code LightYears get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 items. You got baseball, you got basketball, you got Masters this week, dude. Get on it, guys. Get on it.
Yeah, I'm going with Warrior this weekend, just to
Yeah, it's
to let
easy
the people know.
pick.
Yeah, I
Easy
know, but
pick.
he's never won the Masters,
He is a
and
choke artist though. So
that's the
tough one.
thing. Like he's such a good golfer that like I want him to like
Yeah.
compete the
Yeah.
career Grand Slam and like win the Masters, all that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah. Again, speaking of golf, Light Years Podcast, we are
look at
brought to you
us.
by PXG. The time has come to get a new set of golf clubs, and that means one thing: heading over to my local PXG store for a fitting. They make the best golf clubs, period. I told the people a little bit about my fitting experience last time we were on, last night actually. Wow, it feels like longer than that. But yeah, I went over to PXG, the one over right over here in Huntington Beach, got fitted for the Gen 6 irons. So not their newest set of irons, but they thought these were going to be the best for my swing, my body type, whatever. They go super in depth. They do a ton of stuff that I have no idea what they're talking to me about, but you just sit there and listen. They're going to get you fit for the perfect clubs. And the biggest thing with these, obviously, they help you hit the ball straighter, which is super, super important. But what I noticed immediately compared to my regular set of clubs, I'm hitting everything 15 to 20 yards further. And that's so important. Adding that extra 15 to 20 yards to your game, you're hitting, wedges into greens instead of 8 and 7 irons. You're hitting 8 irons into greens instead of 5 irons. So, look, the guys at PXG, they took care of me, and I know if you guys go in, they'll take care of you too. So schedule your fitting today. And for a limited time, you can save up to 20% on your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/lightyears. That's pxg.com/lightyears to save up to 20% on your entire order. Restrictions apply. See site for details. All right. What do we want to bounce to now, Andy? We were going to I was thinking of doing a little bit of a segment on Harrison Barnes. But that feels in bad taste now.
Let's skip that one.
Let's skip that. I was thinking, maybe we talk about a little bit of Harry B and, where does he rank in terms of Warriors players, all those nice things.
Let's
But
do standings. Let's do standings.
we're going to leave that alone for now. That alone for now. I think we can save standings for the end. I guess we could just jump to it right now, huh? Let's just do some standings talk. All right. Our guy, Mike Grandy, hooked it up for us. He made it very simple for the people. Tweeted out potential seedings for the Warriors at this point. And here is what we are looking at. So now, with the loss tonight, and really the Lakers win kind of sealed this in a way too, Warriors can no longer get to 3. For the Warriors to get to 4, they'd have to go 2-0. Clippers would have to go 2-0. Denver would have to go 2-0. Memphis would have to go 2-1. Doesn't feel possible. The 5 seed, somewhat off the table now. 2-0 for the Warriors, 0-2 for either the Clippers or the Nuggets, and then 2-1 for Memphis. And then 6, all they have to do is win 2. Memphis just has to lose 1. 6 feels like the most likely at this point if they are going to sneak into the top 6 here and avoid the play-in.
God, they're going to play the Lakers.
And that is we go. And that is a date with the Lakers.
Oh, they're going to play the Lakers. I've foreseen it. I've seen the future, Tommy. I've seen the future.
Now, what I'll say about that is, would you, with as shaky as Lucas has looked for a little bit here, looked great tonight. If anybody watched that game, he looked amazing tonight in his return to Dallas. Probably his best game in a Laker uniform. They took care of a very average Dallas team. If you were to meet the Lakers at some point in the playoffs, would you want to meet them earlier or later? Because I think there's a couple ways to look at that, right?
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let's go back a little bit to the. I cut you off, so that's my fault. But if we go back a little bit, looking at the schedules, the Warriors, they need to win twice. So I think there was a path for them to win today. And then against Portland, they're 3-0. They go into the Clippers game. They kind of already clinched the top 6 seed. I think there was a path for that.
There was.
But now there is no path for that. They need to beat Portland, and then they need to go and beat the Clippers. Memphis' schedule is interesting because I think if you pull that up, if Memphis loses a game, that gives the Warriors, again, let's repeat, the Warriors have the tiebreaker over Minnesota. The Warriors have the tiebreaker over Memphis.
Yes.
So as long as they finish with the exact same record as Minnesota and Memphis, they will be the 6th seed. Memphis plays Minnesota tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams are going to be trying. Nobody will be resting. So that is a must-win game. The Warriors, we will be rooting for Minnesota to win that game, because if Minnesota wins that game, the Warriors just need to win their next 2 games. If Minnesota loses that game, the Memphis Grizzlies play a back-to-back in Denver, Tommy, in Denver.
In games that win that game. In a game that Denver needs to win.
Denver needs to win, and they just fired their coach. We'll get to that later, and they got the coach jump, so they play well tonight. They beat the Kings. Memphis will lose one of those games, and then they finish the season in Dallas. Dallas will, I think they'll be trying to win that game, actually. They finish this game in Dallas. The Grizzlies will lose one of those games.
Are you? Right? Is that a prediction from Andy Liu on April 9th?
Yeah,
2025. Is that an actual prediction? Because that
dude, back to back.
I know.
I don't know.
Right.
Back to back. We'll sit here on Friday, but back to back against Minnesota, and then flying to Denver. They're losing one of those, if not both of those. And that gives the Warriors the opening that they need. All you gotta do is win both games. You've already tossed one away tonight. All you gotta do is win both. You get a rest day before Portland. You get a rest day before LA. You win both, you're the 6th seed. And Mazova gets his dream. But Tommy, it's not the worst thing. I think having that 6th seed in a week off before playing the Lakers is better than playing a game, maybe losing, right? And then playing another game and then having to go and play either OKC or Houston. 2 teams that are going to run you off the building if you're going to be tired, which the Warriors will be if they're in the play-in round. They will be tired, whichever one they play. So,
I mean, I've been very adamant on not worrying. I mean, there's obviously matchups I prefer over others, but I've been pretty adamant on I don't really give a shit who they play in the first round. Just get out of the play-in, because the rest is the most important thing. Over everything. All these teams in the West playoffs are going to be tough. They're going to present different, unique matchup issues in their own ways. So the most important thing to me is just staying out of that play-in situation and getting as much rest as possible. It's I don't know, man. I'm trying not to reflect on that loss too much and talk about how monumental it was coming down the stretch of the season here, but it just. They were kind of in a position where they needed to win out one way or another. I guess you could approach that last game of the season against the Clippers maybe having something locked up because you have a little bit more knowledge about where other teams sit. But at this point, I don't know, man. I'm trying to stay composed here because everything about that loss was just so frustrating that I want to focus on standings watching and maybe a couple other smaller things we could talk about the team. But it's just such a disappointing loss.
How about what if I told you this though? I just think a loss like that is just a team they're fried. What if that's not what they're going to look like if they get a week off? Maybe if they win the first round, then they play the second round, and then by the third round they're just fucking gassed, right? Maybe that's it. But we've sat across from each other. We've seen this game so many times through the years. So many times. And I feel like the explanation each time isn't that, it's not that they're not good enough. Could they get more players? They can always get more players, but they lost this game to me just because they're just a tired team, man. To me. Maybe you solve that by getting I don't know.
I think I mean the bigger part of it to me, like you said, they are a very tired team. And do they have enough left in the tank, even if they do get to even with that week off?
Maybe not. Maybe
even
not.
with that week off. And not only with that week off, they're still going to be mentally drained. I mean, that week off, it's nice. It's a lot. But maybe they've been kind of flooring it for too long here. And we've seen that not just tonight. We saw it versus Houston as well. It's not like we're just talking about tonight in a vacuum necessarily. We've seen 2 bad performances out of the last 3 games. I think I'm just trying to look for anything positive to take away from tonight. But I'm really just at a loss for words. I feel like I have been on this journey with this team, and my brain is fried from all of this, right?
Well,
and what I would worry about the most from this standpoint is they really haven't blown a game in this fashion. since
Well, yeah.
Jimmy got here, right? Like they've had some bad losses. Like they got blown out of Miami without Steph. There's been some wonky games. They had the bad loss early in the after the Jimmy trade against Dallas in Dallas. It hasn't been perfect, obviously. No team's ever perfect. But my worry would be is I know there's only 2 games left in the season, but maybe now some of those same feelings that were there early in the season, they start to creep back into the mind.
Well, I mean, let me spin it back against you though. The fact that they haven't blown a game like this since Jimmy got here is actually a great thing. It's the other thing. Like, this hasn't been a trend since Jimmy Butler got here. This is really the first time that they've lost a game like this. The chats. I just shout out the chat real quick. They've been bringing up GP2 and Quentin Post would have been huge tonight.
Yeah.
Completely true. If they have both guys, they would have won. Now, they should have won regardless. They were 17-point favorites. But those guys are role players that give them energy, right? Like Buddy Hield and we went through the list. Like those guys didn't give it tonight the way that they did. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse for a loss like this. To me, it's just sometimes you chalk it up to a team that's mentally and physically exhausted. And what if I throw you another thing? We're back to the schedule stuff. What if I throw you another one, Tommy? I almost said Sam. What if I told you that the Clippers are going to clinch a top 6 seed by the time Sunday rolls around?
It could.
And what if they say, hey, we're just going to sit guys? Kawhi could use the rest. Why are we going to throw? Why would we throw Kawhi out there? Norm Powell is nursing a hamstring injury. Why would we throw him out there? Jimmy H, our guy, playing all season. Does he need to play? What if they sit guys?
Right. Yeah, and I think that's why it's been so hard outside of just like the standings themselves and where they're at. I think that's why it's been so hard for me to like, everybody's been talking about like, well, do we want to see this opponent? Do we want to see that opponent? It's also still congested. It's hard to project, but I do think you're right. There is a chance, an outside chance the Clippers do rest guys, but also just like knowing Ty Lue, I don't think he's going to rest guys against the Warriors. Maybe only Kawhi, right? Because they're going to rest Kawhi as much as they possibly can if the opportunity presents itself. But I just don't see the Clippers laying down like that. And they're just annoying to play against regardless. Like both of these last 2 games will be very difficult games. I truly believe that. And I felt kind of the same way coming into tonight. The Spurs played the Clippers really tough last night. They made them work for all 48. The Clippers were able to pull it out late, but obviously the Warriors weren't able to do the same. So yeah, just again, a disappointing loss. And like we obviously we're looking at the standings to kind of project outcomes here. It puts them in a position where their backs are really, really against the wall when it didn't have to be coming down the stretch. So
the Warriors are going to play the Lakers, Tommy. They're going to play the Lakers. I'm laughing so hard. It's going to be a grinded out 6-gamer minimum.
Is Adam Silver happy about that? Is Adam Silver happy about the fact that this is happening in the first round? Because in my head, he'd rather have that be a conference finals or obviously a semifinals matchup, right?
I don't think he's happy about that. I wouldn't be if I was Adam Silver. I mean, he already force engineered the trade for Luka to go to LA. So why? Like, if I were him, I would want this to extend as long as I can to the conference finals. No, I wouldn't be happy about that because all of a sudden, do I want to see Houston in the Western Conference Finals? I don't know. But yeah, we're getting that first round series. It's just hilarious, completely hilarious. I have no idea how it's going to go. I think it's a true coin flip. I think it's a true coin flip. But I'm not going to do we're not going to do the series preview right now. Wow. I can't believe this is what it's come down to. But Steph and Braun deserve each other. So all right,
it's like the Batman. The Joker thing, basically until they die. They're just gonna keep doing this until the day they both retire. They're somehow always gonna find their way back to each other.
Yep. They are meant for each other. The only thing they haven't done is actually play with each other. So, all right, we got some more stuff, but before we do that, Light Years Podcast, we are brought to you by Timeline. I'm here to tell you all about Timeline. Cellular health is the foundation of well-being and longevity. MitoPure supplements helps you support your health by encouraging cellular renewal. MitoPure recharges your cells, supporting any goals by helping all your systems work together. MitoPure is the only supplement on the market clinically proven to target the effects of age-related cellular decline. With MitoPure, you'll feel the difference in your energy levels, your workouts, your endurance, and your recovery. I take mine every morning, Tommy. It's easy. I get my workouts in. It helps me get through the day. Work helps me get energy. Dude, I'm sleeping like in 4-hour intervals all day. So it gives me the power, the strength to get through. That also helps me work out at night when I can actually do it. So it's once a day, easy to take. You'll thank me later. Right now, Timeline offering 10% off your order of MitoPure. Go to timeline.com/lightyears. That's timeline.com/lightyears. Get your order. 10% off.
And after that game, I feel like I need a massive, massive, massive dose of our guys at Vaia. 420 is right around the corner, and there's no better time to elevate your wellness routine. Whether you want to relax, recharge, or refocus, Vaia has the perfect lineup for you. With products ranging from 0 to high cannabinoid levels, Vaia lets you fully customize your experience to fit your needs. And the best part, Vaia legally ships across the U.S., discreet, direct to your door, no medical card required, and backed by a worry-free guarantee. Not sure where to start? Take Via's product finder quiz to get personalized recommendations tailored to your needs. It takes less than 60 seconds to complete. I ordered some of their CBD stuff the other day, some of their sleep gummies, some of their focus gummies, but I feel like I might go back on Via's website tonight and go with the heavier stuff after watching that Warriors performance. So if you're 21 plus, treat yourself to Via's annual spring 420 sale. Black Friday level savings up to 35% site-wide right now, up to 50% off packs and bundles, and get a free gift plus more savings with your first order over $50 using our exclusive code LIGHTYEARS at the link in our description. Plus, enjoy free shipping on orders over $50. Enhance your everyday with Vaia. All right, let's do this. Let's end on maybe a slight, I don't even know if this isn't even a slightly more positive note tonight, but do the Warriors, or not do the Warriors, just after tonight, obviously not a game where like the entire NBA intelligence is going to be tuned in. Does tonight hurt Draymond's chances at winning the Defensive Player of the Year? He's been campaigning for it hard. I think, me personally, I do think with Wemby out, I think he is as deserving as anybody, and it could be a little bit of a legacy award. But if you look at the metrics, he actually has better metrics than Mobley and Dort and Dyson Daniels, and the advanced metrics. His defensive metrics are better than everybody's. Playing with probably worse defensive infrastructure than all of these guys, so he would be my pick to win it. And obviously, I'm very biased. But does tonight actually hurt those chances? And maybe I think yourself included, I think a lot of people after tonight would say, screw Draymond, he actually does deserve the Defensive Player of the Year.
I've thought I've thought he's deserved it. To me, this is, people are complaining that it's a legacy award. I genuinely don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me. Give it to him. If you think it's a legacy award, that's fine with me. If you look at the advanced metrics and look at how impactful he's been defensively as compared to players like Evan Mobley, for example, it actually favors Draymond. So I would love for him to get Defensive Player of the Year. Maybe spend less time complaining and more time on the court actually defending, like tonight, so you don't have those type of games. But no, man, I think I think he'll get it. I think he deserves it. I do think he has 2 more chances to cinch it up, because he's got a big matchup on, I think they'll come back pretty revived and they'll play well in Portland, but they've got a big matchup against the Clippers where he's going to have to guard Zubac. And Zubac has quietly been one of the best centers in the entire NBA. So I think that'll be a pretty good litmus test for him to basically make the closing argument and saying like, hey man, like, I'm going to guard Zubac. I'm going to play great against the Clippers. Warriors haven't beat the Clippers in forever, and guard Harden and guard Kawhi and all those guys. And he could probably win the award that day. So, if you think it's up in the air, then I think that's the game, right? You look at Sunday and say that's the one.
Yeah, and a couple of things on that. That game did get flexed. For people who don't know, that game did get flexed to the ESPN primetime game on Sunday, which is a 12:30 tip. The NBA on the last day of the season, they have a bunch of games tip at 10, and they have a bunch of games tip at 12:30 to ensure that nobody's really jockeying for position. They try to avoid that as much as possible because they wanted excitement on the last day. So that will be a national TV game. And you're right about Zubac. I mean, he probably won't get it, but I think there is a legitimate argument for him making an all-NBA team. He has been that good this year. That is a big dude with really good touch. knows how to play. He's been an incredible pick and roll partner for Harden. So Draymond will have his work cut out for him. And yeah, I'm excited to see it. Let's I guess jump back into the standings here a little bit to close
Okay.
this out.
Okay.
We don't need to be here forever tonight. It's just going to get too ugly and too dire if we do that. At least I know that from my side. I don't know if you're feeling that way, but I know that about myself. Okay, current standings in the West. Obviously, we know the Thunder 1, know the Rocks 2. Lakers win tonight. They're at 3. The Nuggets are now at 4. They own the tiebreaker over the Clippers. Both teams are 48 and 32. Grizzlies at 6 at 47 and 32. The Warriors now at 7 at 47 and 33. And the Timberwolves at 8 at 46 and 33. I will not be here on Friday. I won't be on the podcast. So, Andy, right now, where do the Warriors end up and where does the rest of the West shake out to end the season here by Sunday afternoon? Where are all these teams at? What matchup are the Warriors looking at? And what are the matchups overall? How do you think this whole thing shakes out? Who ends up in the play-in? Who ends up in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think looking at the Memphis schedule, we went through it earlier. I think they lose at least one, if not two games. That back to back tomorrow, and then going into Denver is brutal. And then I think Minnesota, they have the exact same. I mean, they have to win a game. But the rest of the season schedule is pretty easy. So if they win a game, they'll end up with the same record as the Warriors. The rest of the season, basically, what I mean, if the Warriors win the next two games, they're in the postseason. They're the 6th seed. I don't see a universe here where the Warriors are going to be the 5 seed just because the Clippers have the season series clinched already, and the Clippers probably aren't going to lose 2 games.
They play the Kings. They play the Kings on Friday. They could lose that. They could.
They could, and then that becomes pretty, like, that game between them becomes pretty important. I mean, it's important regardless for the Warriors. The Warriors have to win. But it would also, if they lose against the Kings, that would just tell me that the Clippers aren't benching anyone, right? But if the Clippers are already in the 5 seed, like they're stuck in the 5 seed, maybe they're just playing for home court advantage against the Nuggets, right? Maybe that's the thing. So the 4-5, maybe you can sit there and be like, they're playing against home court advantage for the 4-5. Seems like the Lakers are set in the 3. To me, Tommy, it feels like the Warriors are on a collision course. I choose to believe, regardless of what happened, the result tonight, you look at Steph's comments, like, we got to prove we're a good team. If we just got to respond and win 2 games, I believe that they'll win the next 2 games. Like, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They've shown me that they've been really fucking good. They beat Memphis, they beat Denver, and then they beat holy shit, the Lakers on that back-to-back. So they've proven that they can win those games. The Clippers aren't, like, they're not like they're OKC or they're Boston. You're not going into those type of teams, right? You should be able to win that game. They might even be favored at home. So I'm choosing to believe they win those 2 games. Memphis definitely loses a game. That puts the Warriors with probably the same record, if not a game better than Memphis and Minnesota. That gives them the 6th seed. Then it's likely to me that the Lakers get the 3 seed because they'll just win out the rest of the games. Their schedule is pretty straightforward. And we get the fucking we get the Warriors Lakers. I think we're sitting here Sunday night and we're getting Warriors Lakers, and we'll have a week to talk about it, which will be that's what ESPN wants.
I tend to agree with you. So you're basically saying essentially the Warriors and Grizzlies swap places in the standings, and it more or less ends up T-Wolves, Grizzlies, in some order in the 7-8, whatever their tiebreaker situation ends up. Warriors 6, Clippers or Nuggets 4-5. They're playing each other in the first round. Then Lakers 3. Yeah, I think. Look, I mean, after tonight, I'm not encouraged. I am. What's the right word? I mean, look, my brain's as fried as the teams right now. I am. I want to say that they're just going to lose out. I just want to get as negative as possible and say, it's all over. It's cooked. It's done. They might as well just pack it up and not even go to the playoffs at this point. But I'm going to go with you. I do think they win out these last 2 games because we've seen these guys with their backs truly against the wall enough times when they have enough with them. Steph and Dre, they do have enough. Like, out of everything, and you hinted at this earlier, that Jimmy performance was incredibly encouraging tonight. People had been really on him about his aggressiveness, and I think he heard a little bit of that chatter. And obviously, the Spurs aren't the best opponent in the world, but the guy got to the free throw line 17 times. That is not easy to do.
It's insane.
Yeah, and it's just he gets to his spots whenever he wants. And even late in the game when they they messed up a couple of possessions. Just being able to throw him the ball at the elbow, I think not only in the playoffs, but over these next 2 games, if these next 2 games get tight, that's an incredibly valuable thing to have. And they were trying to do that again on that sideline out of bounds before Steph turned it over. Anyway, I'm going to go with you. I think the Warriors win these next 2, and I do think that they end up in this 6-3 against the Lakers, and we're going to get another fucking Steph LeBron battle in the playoffs, man. I don't know. I don't know if my heart can handle another one of those.
Yep. They're gonna kill each other. That's serious. So we'll talk about it on Sunday night. But I think that's the when we think about the season. I know we're gonna head out here, but when we think about the season this morning, I was thinking about, it feels like DeAnthony Melton was on this team 5 years ago. Like I just don't even remember DeAnthony Melton anymore. And this season has been incredible. It's been super exciting up and down all year. I kind of feel like it should come down to this.
Yes.
Maybe I'm doing more copium, but like just the whole way this season has gone, the trade, all the shit. And it just, if the Warriors came down to the game against the Clippers and they had already clinched the 6th seed, where's the fun in that? Come on. It's better this way. The Warriors play better when there's true pressure on them. Come on. There's no pressure tonight. There were 6-17-4 favorites. They didn't show up. So I need a win and stay in. Win and stay in the 6 for the Warriors on Sunday afternoon. Tommy, I feel like at this point in my sports career, I feel like I've seen everything. We have seen everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're a Dodgers fan. I'm a Giants fan. I've seen it all. You've seen it all. Who's your football team? Who's your football team? Rams. Oh shit, Rams. You've seen a Super Bowl. I haven't, but Niners, I've seen all the bad stuff. You know what I mean? I've seen all the fucking heartbreak. You can't hurt me. You can't hurt me.
I don't know, man. If they don't make the playoffs this year, if the Warriors don't make the playoffs after what we saw the last couple of months with as good as they were, they somehow end up at the play and they don't make the playoffs.
They're not going to lose to the Kings, Tommy. Come on. DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine could get hot in a game, though. I don't know. All right, we got to get out of here. That's not what
we got to get the hell out of here. We're leaving it on this. They're going 2-0, and they're going to end up in the top 6. That's the only way we can end this after night like tonight. Yep. Thanks for being with us, guys. We will see you guys on Friday.